Back taps, Cox gets just in Kentucky's front court. Passes over to Hatton, moves down the right side, gives to Brewer. Brewer holds on, free throw line deep, passes to Hatton to Beck. And then out to Hatton to Calvert. 30-foot set, no good. Glances off the rim. Calvert races in and gets it. Feeds Cox wide open and misses the shot, but a foul is called against Houston. It's Patapersti committing the first foul of the ball game. And Johnny Cox moves up to the Kentucky free throw line. 2 shots coming. The ball game scoreless. We've played only 12 seconds. Here's Cox's first try. Good. And Kentucky leads 1-0. Cox crisscrossing his arms as he swings them out in front of him. Has the ball and is ready for the second shot. It's up and in. Kentucky 2, Houston nothing. And the Cougars have the ball for the first time with Kentucky picking up in backcourt tonight defensively. Danny Dotson gets the ball, the big 6'3 guard. Very husky one, moves up in front court. Watches McElvin break for the basket and then passes over to Dean Evans. Evans out deep with it, tom-tomming the ball. Passes over to McElvin, deep and to the right. Hatton on him. Moving to the right, tries his screen, gives over, and here's Dotson with a jumper from 20 feet. No good. Rebounding, Johnny Cox lobs it up to Jerry Calvert on a 4-3 fast break. Calvert feeds back to the left, and a 20-foot jump shot's no good. Off the rim, it's taken by McElvin of Houston in the deep left corner. Going to him is Beck, and then backs away, and the pass comes over to Dean Evans. So Houston's attacking, still trailing 2-0 on a pair of free throws by Johnny Cox. Over to Danny Dotson, moves into the top of the circle, gives over to Evans, wide open from 10 feet. He missed it. Taken off by Johnny Brewer, fights to hold on and passes to Ed Beck. High one up front at the dividing line to Jerry Calvert. Moves down the right side, fakes a shot, bounces to Cox under the basket. He's triple teamed and a whistle at the baseline. A foul is against Houston's Andy McElvin, his first one. And Johnny Cox goes back to the Kentucky free throw line. This time, one try comes as he was not in the act of shooting. He was in behind the boards a little bit. The backboard is 4 feet from the baseline, so there's plenty of room to operate in there. Cox hits. Kentucky leads 3-0 without a field goal in the ball game yet. Now 1 minute, 11 seconds old. Cox has the bonus shot coming now. Stands in, and from between the knees, a two-hander's good. Kentucky 4, Houston nothing, and Cox now has as many points as he scored last night. Here's Patapersti, the 6'7 center, bringing it in and down the right side of the offensive court. Out to Evans, passes deep to Dotson. Back to Evans, deep on the right side, moves out to the top rim of the circle, turns, whips to McElvin. Bad pass that pulled him into the baseline and out of position. In it goes, and here's a one-hander pumped up high and good by Houston's Russell Boone, the first field goal of the ball game after a minute and a half of play. 4-2 as Cox shoots, no good from the left side. And as it comes off the boards, a pushing foul. It's against Johnny Brewer of Kentucky. It's the first foul against the Wildcats and gives Russell Boone of Houston a chance to tie up the ball game. We have 18 minutes and 19 seconds still to go here in the first half. Cox has 4 free throws for the Wildcats, who have not yet found the range from the outside. Here's the left-hander shooting, hitting for Houston. Boone and Cox have all the points. Now the bonus shot that could tie up this 4-3 game. The southpaw pumps it up, it rolls around and comes in. So Boone has 4 for Houston and Cox has 4 for Kentucky as we have a leveled ball game. Cox gets it in the right corner for Kentucky, out to Hatton. He fakes, then breaks by Dotson. 10-foot jump shot's good. Vernon Hatton popping his first shot good. Kentucky's first field goal after 1 minute 53 seconds of play. And the Cats lead again by 2 points. It's 6-4 as McElvin in front court goes to the top of the circle, passes to Evans. Houston playing both forwards deep out of there. They hung Brewer up on the pivot, and the shot by Evans, no good. Taken off by Johnny Cox, who's doing a beautiful job here in the early minutes of play on the boards. Throws, and McElvin of Houston intercepts. So the Cougars have it right back. Dean Evans gets it out deep and straight away. Threatens a pass toward the pivot, gives over to Dotson, moves in. Dotson moves to the top of the circle, trying to hang the man on the screen, and here's the foul on Calvert. Calvert tried to come through the screen. That's the first foul on Calvert and the second foul on each team. Patapersti, who is setting up for the screen, is on the line for one shot for Houston. 17 minutes and 32 seconds here in the first half. Championship game of the Sugar Bowl. Patapersti shoots and misses. Tapped by Brewer, over to Calvert. Cats have it, 2 on 3. And pulling up, Hatton gives to Calvert on the left side. Over to Cox, open from 10 feet. The shot, good. Johnny Cox gets his first field goal and 6th point as Kentucky leads for the second time by 4 points. They had a 4-0 lead as Cox hit 4 free throws. Then Houston caught them with a field goal and a pair of free throws by Boone. And now Hatton is hit, and we've had another one here just go in by Andy McElvin of Houston for his first field goal, and it's an 8-6 ball game. Here's Calvert passing to Cox on the left side. Out to Calvert in the pivot to Beck and a right-handed hook. It's good. Ed Beck notches field goal number 1. It's Kentucky 10-6, their third 4-point advantage. Andy McElvin moving up in front court. The 6-foot guard deep and straightaway gives to Dotson to his left. Pomo's in, takes Calvert in against Patapersti, then breaks for the basket. A whistle from the outside. He carried the ball, getting his hand under it to carry it the half step. Kentucky takes it on the side of the backcourt with Hatton getting it to the left side to Cox, and a jump shot's no good, but a whistle and a foul against Houston's Dean Evans. His first personal, and on the line, Johnny Cox. Cox has 2 tries coming. 16 minutes and 33 seconds here in the first half. Kentucky has its third 4-point lead of the game right at this moment as Cox shoots. Good. 11-6 in favor of the Wildcats, their longest lead. They've been tied one time at 4-all. Cox's second shot's good. Kentucky leading 12-6 as the Cougars get the ball. McElvin gets the incoming pass from Dotson. With Hatton meeting at the dividing line, he crosses, breaks to the right, and feeds to Evans. Moves in on Brewer. Can't hang his man up. Calvert knocks it down through the legs of Beck. It's picked up by Dotson, who flips it up. It is no good, rolled off. Beck taps outside. Brewer can't get to it. McElvin of Houston scoops it out and throws it to Evans. Cougars set it up to go again with McElvin deep into the right, going in against Hatton, who takes the ball away from him, and McElvin charged him. That's the second foul on Andy McElvin of Houston, and the 4th one against the Cougars. That's exactly the number of personals committed by VPI in the entire game last night. We just played less than 4 minutes, 3 minutes 51 seconds to be exact, as Vernon Hatton of Kentucky makes his first appearance at the free throw line for 1 shot on a backcourt foul by McElvin. Here's Hatton, 2-handed free throw, good. And the Cats are in front, 13-6. Bonus shot for Hatton as Kentucky has racked up 13 points with only 3 field goals. Hatton shoots good. So it is Kentucky 14, Houston 6. After 4 minutes of play, McElvin moves in front court for the Cougars, passes to Dotson, deep into the left side, moves in against Calvert. He has 4 inches height advantage in there, gives off to Evans, who goes to the left side to recover the bouncing ball. Hooks a high pass into Patapersti with Beck on him and deep to the left at the baseline near the corner. Out to Evans, fakes toward the front. Brewer was going through for the pass, and he held up long enough to get it and takes a return. Evans moves into the free throw line, hooks to the right, Hatton falls, McElvin shoots, and it comes in and out. Johnny Brewer rebounds, and he's fouled from the rear by Patapersti. Up check, it's Russell Boone of Houston committing his first personal. 15 minutes and 40 seconds here in the first half of play. Kentucky 14, Houston 6. And Johnny Brewer makes his first appearance at the free throw line. Brewer moves into the line now, plays with the feet close together, and a one-handed free throw is no good. First one Kentucky's missed in the Sugar Bowl tournament after 16 straight. Houston's McElvin gets the rebound and moves up past midcourt stripe, giving over to Evans deep into the right, moving in against Brewer. Works the double screen with Dotson breaking to the right and Brewer picking up as he goes into the right corner. Scoops one in on the roll to Boone, and a turnaround one-hander's no good. Rebounding Vernon Hatton of Kentucky up the way to Calvert. Up to Johnny Brewer, down the left corner to Cox. He fakes a jump shot and then passes up the left side to Brewer. Kentucky overloads in the pivot to Beck. Back to Calvert, lays it in, driving. Calvert's first field goal. Kentucky 16, Houston 6. Timeout is being called by Houston. The first timeout of the ball game. And the Wildcats have been a smooth, methodical working ball club here in these first 5 minutes of play, as they have taken an advantage of 10 points. Well, here's the early scoring. Johnny Cox has picked up 8 points on 1 field goal and matching it with 6 free throws. Vernon Hatton has 4 points on a field goal and 2 free throws. Calvert with 2 points on a field goal. Ed Beck with 2 points on a field goal. Johnny Brewer missed the only free throw that he's had. That, incidentally, was the first free throw in 17 tries that the Wildcats have missed, leading right now by 16-6. That's the only free throw they've missed in this Sugar Bowl tournament so far. Russell Boone is Houston's leading scorer. He got the first 4 points for the Cougars with a field goal and 2 free throws. Now Andy McElvin's added a field goal, and as we go back to play, Houston has the ball at the 10-second line. Captain Danny Dotson flips it into back court to McElvin. Moves past the dividing line, hooks to Evans, playing out very deep. Pass to Patipersti. Moves in and walks with it, going against Beck, goes to the floor, takes Calvert with him, and they come up now. Calvert will put it in play from the side of the backcourt. Passes letter high to Vernon Hatton, who moves up past the midcourt stripe. Moves in to the right side of the circle, goes by Beck, under the basket, shoots, and it is no good, but a foul has been called from the baseline against Houston's Ray Patipersti. It's his second foul. It's the 8th foul of the game, the 6th one against Houston, and Vernon Hatton to the Kentucky free throw line for 2 shots. Hatton ready to go now with his first one. It's good. Kentucky leading 17-7. Hatton ready for his second shot now. Eyes and up in between the knees. It is short. Tapped out by Cox. Taken by Brewer. Moves to the left side. Sets and a 25-footer. No good. High off of the rim to the right. It's taken by Dotson of Houston. They trail by 11 points. The longest lead of the ball game. Up in front court now on the left side of McElvin. Breaks in against Hatton. Pulls up abruptly. Can't get his shot away as Hatton covers him. Over to Dotson, to Dean, to the right with Brewer on him. Moves down the right side against Brewer, goes for the baseline, and Brewer is called for blocking. It's his second foul of the ball game with 14 minutes and 14 seconds to go. Kentucky leading by 17-6, and it's Dean Evans of Houston at the free throw line for 1 try. He sets, shoots, good.
Evans shooting is bonus.
The 6'3" forward, Dean Evans of Houston, on the line again with Dotson playing on the Kentucky free throw line and a safety. The shot's no good. Rebounding Johnny Brewer on the bounce, flips over to Vernon Hatton as Kentucky holds on to a 10-point lead at 17-7. Hatton setting it up with a pass over to Calvert. Down the right side to Brewer. He eyes the basket, then passes out after a one-bounce dribble to Hatton. Hatton right back to Brewer, moves out, flips to Calvert straight away about 30 feet. He breaks to the right, comes inside, flips to Hatton, screens. The shot, no good. Tapped up by Cox, twice no good, and knocked down and taken by Dean of Houston. Up in front court to Dotson. Moves in past to Calvert and takes a jump shot that's no good. Taken off by Beck, and he is fouled as he's hit from the rear by Houston's Dean Evans, committing his second foul of the game. 13 minutes and 43 seconds in this first half of play. And Ed Beck will make his first appearance of the night at the free throw line for 1 shot as he was fouled under the Houston basket. Kentucky 17, Houston 7 is the score. Here's Beck shooting, hitting.
Beck shooting the bonus.
Bonus shot coming now to the 6'7" Kentucky center. Beck sights and the bonus shot good. Kentucky leads 19-7.
19-7.
Since the score was tied at 4-all, Kentucky's outscored Houston 15-2. With Dotson moving in front court, passes deep to Evans, back to Dotson. Bounce one into the high post, and taking up for a hook shot is Boone, and he is fouled by Johnny Cox. That's the first foul on Cox, the 4th foul on Kentucky, and Boone will take 2 shots. Boone ready for his first one. He hasn't missed tonight. He's hit 2 for 2. Shoots and misses. Now Boone will go in for his second try with 13 minutes and 29 seconds here in the first half of play. Southpaw shoves it up, bounces to the left, no good. Cox rebounds, whips one up to Vernon Hatton, who moves in front court down the left side. Looks for somebody, can't find anybody open toward the basket, and gives over to Calvert. Bounce pass down the right to Cox, out to Calvert. Hatton goes through, out to Brewer. 30-foot set shot. It's good. Johnny Brewer gets his first point of the game, an outside set shot, and it's Kentucky 21, Houston 7. Up in front court, McElvin to the right to Evans. He moves to the right, taking Brewer deep, then cuts back to the top rim of the circle, flips to Dotson. Brewer slips in covering him, and Dotson gets away. A 20-footer that's no good. Taken off by Boone, who flips it up and off the rim, no good. Knocked down and taken by Hatton of Kentucky. Rips a baseball pass to Cox. He goes down the middle and walks with it. Out of bounds to Houston on this near side of the back court. McElvin bounces into Dotson. Hatton picks him up at the dividing line, and he crosses as he's picked up by Calvert. Passes out to McElvin and back to Dotson. Underhand hook pass goes in. Dotson breaks off the pivot. Boone and gets it. Passes out to Boone, to Evans. 35 feet straight away into Patipersti at the free throw line. Back behind him, and a hook shot by Boone is no good. Tapped up by Patipersti, no good. Picked up by Calvert. 3-on-3. Pass to Brewer. Pulls up at the free throw line. Over to Cox. He's open. 10-foot. Shot is good. Johnny Cox, second field goal. 10th point, and it's Kentucky 23, Houston 7. Waiting to come in from the Cougars is Sam Sells, a guard. Here's Dean Evans out deep with it, taking up with the 30-foot jump shot that's short off the rim, knocked down away from Brewer, taken by Evans, goes under the basket, lays it up no good, but he's fouled from the rear by Vernon Hatton, committing his first foul of the game. That's the 5th foul against Kentucky as Sam Sells, S-E-L-L-S, replaces Dotson. Sells, a 20-year-old junior, is from East St. Louis, Illinois. He stands 5'8", weighs 160. Sells on the line for 2 shots. He's hit one and missed one. This one's good. Sells ready for his second shot. Kentucky leading 23-8. We have 11 minutes and 59 seconds to play. Second one is good. Whistle at the baseline. The whistle meant nothing. As Evans drops in the second free throw, it's 23-9 in favor of Kentucky. Vernon Hatton up in front court with it. Bounce pass to Brewer on the left side, back to Hatton. Calvert goes through. Hatton fakes to him. Passes out to Cox at the top of the circle. Moves to the right. Passes out deep to Hatton, to Calvert, to Beck on the pivot. Hatton goes by. Beck takes a hook shot. No good from 20 feet. Calvert taps. Beck taps no good. Calvert rebounds, takes it to the left corner, gives to Brewer. Out to Cox at the top of the circle. Left open. He shoots and misses. Slapped up by Brewer, no good. Rebounded by Hatton, who lays it up, no good. Beck taps, no good. Fight for the ball. It's picked up by Johnny Brewer. Has to hustle to hold on. Over to Calvert, to Cox. Free throw line jump shot, no good. Taken off this time by McElvin of Houston, and he can't get away with it. As we go to the floor, fighting for the ball. 11 minutes and 22 seconds in this first half. Kentucky leading 23-9 as Beck at 6'7" will jump for Kentucky. He's jumping against McElvin with 7 inches height advantage. Nope. McElvin, 6 feet tall, gives Kentucky 7 inches height advantage on their own free throw line, and the tap goes to Hatton for a 30-foot jump shot. Rolls off to the right, no good, and knocked out of bounds by Bone of Houston. Kentucky keeps it over the baseline. They've had the ball up here about 40 seconds in this front court with a lot of shots and no points. Here's Brewer, breaks into the right, and he's fouled. Sam Sells of Houston drawing his first personal foul, and Danny Dotson comes back in for Houston. Going out is Andy McElvin. Johnny Brewer is on the Kentucky free throw line. He has one coming, we believe. Brewer gets it and is ready for the 1-and-1. He had one try and missed. Shoots this one no good. Beck slaps it up and in. Ed Beck with a 2-hand controlled tap for his second field goal. Makes it Kentucky 25, Houston 9. Up in front court is Sam Sells. Cuts to the right. Calvert picked off, is called for charging. And it's the second foul against Jerry Calvert as he charged in to Patapursty. So Patapursty goes to the free throw line for the 1-and-1 with 10 minutes and 56 seconds to go. Free throw's good. Patapursty draws a bonus shot. He's hit 1 out of 2 so far. Dotson playing back on the Kentucky free throw line and a safety. As Ray Patapursty's bonus shot's good. The score is 25-11. Vernon Hatton gets it, moves up quickly to front court, pulls up to the left side about 30 feet away. Mows in, hands off to Calvert. He cuts back to the left, flips off on the side to Cox. 25-foot jump shot. It's good. Johnny Cox hits for his 3rd field goal and his 12th point. And Kentucky leads 27-11. Dean Evans mows in front court with it after Kentucky put some defensive pressure on them, bringing it up. Over to Danny Dotson, back to Evans, who's the middleman on this 1-2-2. Flips one on the bounce into Russell Boone in the pivot. Falls away from Cox and hits. 15-foot shot. As Russell Boone gets his 2nd field goal, that's only the 3rd field goal for Houston after 9 minutes and 40 seconds of play. Pass to the left side to Cox, back to Calvert, moving down the left side. Underhands a pass out to Johnny Brewer. He takes a 30-foot set shot. No good. Glances off the rim, and Sells gets it for Houston. Brewer picks him up, and Sells spins away. Moves up past the dividing line as he's picked up by Calvert. Moves into the left corner. Gives over to Russell Boone. Starts down the baseline. Cox pulls him up, and he whips it out to Evans. Into the last 10 minutes of the first half now. Here's Evans coming to the top rim of the circle. Gives off and breaking to the right is Sells against Calvert. Fakes, turns, shoots, and misses. Beck rebounds. Whips one out to Johnny Brewer. Kentucky's got a 3-3 break. Calvert goes down the middle. Nobody gets him, and he lays it in driving. 2nd field goal for Calvert to make the score. Kentucky 29, Houston 13. McElvin waits to get in for Houston. As the pass is bounced into Boone, he fires one up that rolls off of the rim, slapped to the outside. Calvert picks it up, and it's 3 against 4. As he's called for walking with it, crossing the dividing line. Houston will take over at midcourt. Danny Dotson out of bounds, passes into Sells, who comes up into the attack court for the Cougars, playing 3 men out And then the pass goes to the right side of Patapursty, who breaks in against Cox and lays it in. Patapursty's first field goal of the game. It's 25-15. Kentucky with a 14-point advantage. Jerry Calvert moving back in front court now, down the right side to Brewer as Krigler comes off the bench. The shot from the outside is good by Vernon Hatton. Second field goal for Vernon Hatton, and Kentucky leads 31-15. Another 16-point advantage for the Wildcats. Up in front court, it's fed in onto a double pivot, playing tight at the free throw line as Houston tries to work the screens and the picks in close. Out to Dean Evans now, moves into the top of the circle. Brewer cut off, he drops the ball, but Patapursty picks it up, faces back, hooks under there. Here's a jump shot by Dean, no good. Slapped by Brewer to Calvert. He's got Hatton wide open, digs one in, throws it to him. Hatton lays it up and in. Fine shot. Third field goal by Vernon Hatton. Kentucky gambles for the long full court pass. Here's Sells putting it in for play for Houston and had his foot on the baseline. So Kentucky will put it in play under its own basket with a 33-15 lead. Out of bounds is Ed Beck to call his play. Lobs one in right into the hands of Russell Boone of Houston. And the Cougars take over with a pass up to Dotson, moving down the right side. Picked up by Hatton. The shot's no good, and a foul against Vernon Hatton, who blocked him out, and it's the second foul on Hatton. John Krigler comes into the Kentucky lineup, replacing Johnny Brewer. Timeout is taken by Houston. It is the second Cougar timeout of the ball game. So, with 8 minutes, 8 seconds here in the first half, Kentucky leads 33-15. Let's check off some of the other scores around the country tonight of games that have been completed. Iowa State has defeated Nebraska. Iowa State 89, Nebraska 69. Georgia Tech tonight defeated Texas Tech by a score of 13 points. Georgia Tech 79, Texas Tech 66. LaSalle beat Valparaiso tonight. LaSalle 103, Valparaiso 73. Washington and Lee defeated Penn tonight. Washington and Lee 76, Pennsylvania 68. Niagara defeated Villanova in early games tonight. Niagara 99, Villanova 76. Iowa has defeated West Virginia by 3 points. The final score was Iowa 79, West Virginia 76. Cortland of New York defeated Hofstra. It was Cortland 76, Hofstra 66. Back to this ball game as Danny Dotson goes to the free throw line for the Cougars, making his first appearance of the ball game. He has 2 shots coming. Dotson's first try is good. Dotson goes back now for his second try. It's no good. Taken off by Calvert on the bounce. A whistle at the baseline. And apparently somebody for Kentucky had their foot in the lane too soon, and Dotson gets another try. 8 minutes and 6 seconds in this first half. Kentucky leading 33-16. Shots good by Dotson this time for his second straight. And it's 33-17 in favor of Kentucky, with Calvert passing it into Hatton, taking a return pass. Bounces her back over to Vernon Hatton, who moves up in front court for the Wildcats. Passes down the left side to Krigler. Back to Calvert. Breaks for the basket. Gets wide open and lays it in, driving. As he outran McElvin on the break for the basket. Kentucky leading 35-17 as we go into the last 8 minutes of play. McElvin to Dotson in front court for Houston. Breaks down the left side with Calvert on him. Goes to the corner. Comes out to the top of the circle. Dean goes by. Can't get it to him. Then the pass comes over to McElvin. He breaks down the right side against Hatton. Turns his side to him, over to Dotson. 25-footer, it's short. Bounces up into the air, slapped on the rim, no good. And a pushing foul is called against Houston. Patapursty. Check it, it's Russell Boone, his second foul. And now 4 of the Houston starters each have 2. That's McElvin, Evans, Boone, and Patapursty. Johnny Cox is on the Kentucky free throw line for 1. We would guess that something like 4 or possibly 5 of these Houston personals have been committed in offensive court. Here's Cox shooting, hitting. Kentucky leads 36-17 as the 6'4" Kentucky forward will take a bonus shot. This is the 8th free throw Cox has had in this half, and it's the 8th straight he's hit. Kentucky 37-17, their longest lead of the game as they open it up to 20 points. Here's McElvin in front court against Hatton in tight position. Gives over to Dean Evans, who fakes left, comes right on Krigler, runs for the basket, and Krigler pushes him. It's the first foul on Krigler. We have 4 Cougars on the floor with 2 fouls. We now have 3 Wildcats, Brewer, Hatton, and Calvert. Coming in for Houston is Bernie Kapner, Kapner, replacing Andy McElvin. Kapner is a 19-year-old sophomore from Houston, stands 6 feet, weighs 165. Last night against Alabama, he scored 6 points. Now it's Dean Evans, who's hit 3 out of 4, shooting, missing. The warning horn sounds accidentally as Calvert goes down on a 3-2 fast break, cuts to the middle, gives to Krigler. 10-foot jump shot's no good, slammed into the boards and taken off by Dotson, who stepped at the baseline, and it's out of bounds to Kentucky. Ed Beck goes out of bounds to put it in play for the Wildcats as he lines them up. Here's the pass going over to Calvert, out to Hatton. He cuts, goes by Dotson, and is knocked down as he jumps to shoot. Foul against Houston's Russell Boone, his 3rd foul of the ball game. And into the Cougar lineup now is Larry Bird, B-Y-R-D, for the first time. And coming out is Dean Evans, 20-year-old junior from San Antonio. Bird is 6'2", weighs 175. Vernon Hatton on the Kentucky free throw line is shooting 2. He's hit 3 out of 4. Here's Hatton's first attempt. It's good. Hatton has a second one coming as we have 7 minutes in this ball game. Hatton dips, flips, and hits. And the score is Kentucky 39, Houston 17 as we move into these last 7 minutes of play. Up in front court now is Kapner. Passes on the right side to Bird. Bird covered by Krigler, spins, fakes, and fires. It was knocked off of there by one of the Cougars who caught his hands in the nets, and they're going to give it to him, although Patapursty himself did it. They're going to give it to Patapursty, who didn't knock it in. Well, that's one of those unusual things. Goaltending is called, and they give it to the team that was goaltending. One of those reckless calls, and here's a whistle from the back line, and a pushing foul is calling Larry Bird's first foul of the ball game. On the free throw line is Johnny Cox. Johnny Cox up now, shooting his 9th free throw of this half, and he misses. Tapped by Krigler, by Beck, by Krigler, it's good. John Krigler with his first field goal of the game to make it 41-19. Calvert tries to steal and just misses from Bird in the back court, up to Dotson in front court. Passes on the right side, and here's a break by Kapner, cut off by Hatton. The ball is slapped down and out of bounds by Johnny Cox. Goes to Houston on the right side of their offensive court. Kapner out of bounds on the right side, free throw line deep, looks for somebody open, whips it in, and Boone makes a break, and as he jumps to shoot, he's pushed by Vernon Hatton. It's the 3rd foul on Vernon Hatton with 5 minutes and 57 seconds in this first half. Russell Boone, who's hit 2 and missed 2, shoots and hits. Into the Kentucky lineup, Earl Atkins, replacing Vernon Hatton. Atkins, 20-year-old junior from Ashland, is 6'4", weighs 180. He has 10 points this season, 2 of them last night down in the clutch. He hit the next to last field goal of the game. His big night was against Washington and Lee, where he scored 3. Boone shoots his bonus shot good for Houston, and it's 41-21. Atkins in front court quickly, gives over to Calvert. Wheeze, fakes, can't get in, gives to Atkins. 30-foot set shot. It's off the rim, short, no good. And Johnny Cox fouls from the rear, trying to get into it. His 2nd foul of the game. So, all right, at this moment, we have 5 minutes, 47 seconds to play. The score is Kentucky 41, Houston 21. On the Cougar free throw line for the first time in the game is 6'2" Larry Bird. One try coming. Bird sights, feet close together. He, by the way, plays in low-cut shoes, and he misses. Taken off by Krigler on the rebound, gives over to Cox, and it's 3-on-2. Calvert down the middle, takes a 10-footer that's short. Over the head, Cox slaps it straight up into the air, and then it's taken off by Kapner of Houston. He holds on against Calvert and gets a return pass from Bird, moves up in front court. Pulls up at the top rim of the circle, gives over to Bird, into Kapner, breaking against Earl Atkins as he goes under there. Atkins hits him on the arm, and it's the first foul on Earl Atkins. While we wait for the free throw, let's take 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Standard Oil Sports Network.
WVLK, Lexington, Kentucky, broadcasting the Cotton Bowl and Rose Bowl games on New Year's Day.
Bernie Kapner of Houston shoots and misses. Krigler again rebounds, flips to Calvert, up to Atkins, back to Calvert, 3-on-2. Calvert pulls up, gives to Cox, and a 20-foot jump shot's in there. Johnny Cox with his 4th field goal of the game makes the count. Kentucky 43, Houston 21. Cougars come back to the attack. 3 men out in a double pivot. Moving in is Dotson to the top man and takes a 25-footer that's good. For Dotson, that's his first field goal of the game after 15 minutes. It's 43-23 as Earl Atkins passes midcourt, passes to Krigler on the left side back to Calvert, moving down the left side, breaks for the basket and stabs it in there. Calvert's 4th field goal. He and Cox each have 4. And it's 45-23 as the Cats take a 22-point advantage. Here's Krigler cutting one off, goes to the floor to hold on. It's picked up by Bird, flipped over to Boone, jump shot no good. Krigler has it knocked down by Bird, and as he jumps to shoot, he's fouled by Johnny Cox. No, correction, it's against Krigler. Second foul on Krigler. That's 12 fouls against Kentucky. And 12 fouls against Houston, as we've had 24 personal fouls in 15 and a half minutes of play. Larry Bird of Houston hits. He gets the bonus shot. As into the Cougar lineup, Andy McElvin replacing Bernie Kapner. Larry Bird, 6'2", forward, goes back to the Houston free throw line for a bonus shot. It's good. The score is 45-25. Calvert quickly to Krigler in front court, who breaks for the basket, pulled up at the baseline, tries to shoot, and another foul. This one's against McElvin of Houston, his 3rd one. Houston has 3 men with 3 fouls each, McElvin, Boone, and Patapersti. Kentucky has Hatton with 3. As Krigler goes to the Kentucky free throw line for the first time in the game, he has a 1-and-1 coming. The shot, good. And with 4.5 minutes here in the first half, Kentucky takes a 21-point lead. Bonus shot to the 6'3" forward from Hebron. It's good. And the Cats lead 47-25. Last night, they scored only 24 points in the first half of play. They within 1 point of doubling that production against Houston here, which is running with them. Here's Dotson moving into the top of the circle, hangs Calvert up, gives to Bird, breaks in, and he got it. Fine play by Larry Bird, driving for his first field goal. 47-27 as Houston stands on even terms with the Wildcats now, hitting field goal for field goal with them. Down the right to Krigler, back to Atkins. Calvert goes through. He feeds Cox, breaking down in there, wide open. He lays it in, good. And a whistle at the baseline. Bird of Houston has drawn his 2nd foul. Cox's 5th field goal of the game will count. Cox has 18 points as he goes to the free throw line for 1 shot. And hit or miss, that's all he'll get. 4 minutes and 2 seconds to go. Kentucky with a 22-point lead. Cox shooting. It is way short. Krigler taps and misses. Coming off with it, Krigler lays it in. Krigler's 2nd field goal to put the Cats in front, 51-27. As we move into the last 4 minutes of play, here's Larry Bird in front court for Houston. Passes over to Danny Dotson, moves down to the left against Calvert. He hangs him up on the post, and then Atkins comes through. Here's Patapersti breaking in against Beck, and a high jump shot is good. Patapersti's 2nd field goal of the game to make it 51-29. Earl Atkins in front court for Kentucky, bounces to Cox, and Bird of Houston knocks it away and out of bounds. Clock stopped as the ball goes up into the crowd. 3 minutes, 32 seconds to play. Atkins out of bounds. Bounces one to Krigler, and a 20-foot jump shot. No good. Misses the rim and goes out of bounds. Andy McElvin back in front court now for Houston as they play 3 out on the double pivot. Breaking in is Bird against Cox. Double teamed as Beck picks him up. Cox slaps for the ball and hits it, but doesn't jar it loose. Out to Patapersti, to Dotson straight away. Over to Bird on the left side. He moves out to the top of the circle. Krigler hung up on it, and then it's kicked out of bounds as McElvin hit it off his foot. So here's Atkins getting it in from Calvert. Moving up into the front court for the Wildcats. Gives to Krigler on the right side. He has it knocked away by Boone, but picked up by Calvert. Out to Earl Atkins. Atkins crouches, then gives over to Calvert. Beck playing a high pivot to the left of the free throw line. Calvert moves back to the left, cuts inside Atkins, and feeds Krigler on the left side. Back to Earl Atkins. Here's a 30-foot set shot, and it's no good. Beck with a high tap just misses. Krigler picks it up and is fouled from the rear by Houston's Russell Boone. That's 4 of them against Boone with 2 minutes and 40 seconds in this first half. So Boone, who last night had 17 points, has committed 4 personals here tonight. Kentucky leading by 51-29. Shooting at the free throw line, Krigler, and it's good. Coming in is Johnny Brewer, and Earl Atkins is coming out. So we'll have Brewer now playing a forward with Calvert. Krigler at the line for a bonus shot. Kentucky holds a 23-point advantage here in the championship game of the Sugar Bowl at New Orleans. Calvert and Brewer playing off to the side of Krigler. as he shoots the bonus shot good. Kentucky 53, Houston 29. Up the way, the pass is to Andy McElvin of the Cougars, who moves into front court, straight away about 40 feet. Angles to the left. Calvert stabs and misses. Over to Dotson. Moves into the free throw line. Beck picks up as Calvert's hung up. Then it goes over to Bird, and Calvert hooks it away and out of bounds. Goes to Kentucky. Calvert almost threw it from down in the pit. But he came up quick to Brewer on the left side to Krigler. A high one that he pulls in. Gives back to Brewer. Outside to Calvert. Here's a 35-foot set shot. It's no good. Rolls off. Houston rebounds. Cox comes in to tie him up. And the foul on Johnny Cox is his third one.
Foul by number 24, Cox.
2 minutes and 12 seconds in the first half. Kentucky leading 53-29. On the free throw line for Houston is Jimmy Ash, who's now in the ball game at a forward. 21-year-old senior from Beaumont, who's replaced Boone. Ash, A-S-H, 6'3", weighs 180, did not score last night against Alabama. Here's Johnny Cox coming out of the Kentucky lineup and being replaced by Adrian Smith, who started the Wildcats on their road last night to the win. Smith, a 19-year-old junior from Farmington, is 6 feet, weighs 178. He has 14 points this season, 6 of them against Maryland, which was his best scoring night. So now we'll see Adrian Smith play the guard with Calvert as Brewer will move back to a forward with Krigler. Beck is in the pivot. Jimmy Ash still waiting at the free throw line to shoot the one shot with 2 minutes 12 seconds to go. Ash, a 6'3" forward, has it now, and he's ready to go. Dotson again playing back on the Kentucky free throw line as Ash shoots short. Beck slaps off and over to Calvert. Up the way to Adrian Smith. 3-on-4 over to Brewer. Back to Calvert. He gets a 15-foot jump shot, and it's good. Calvert's 5th field goal to match the production of Johnny Cox, who's Kentucky's leading scorer with 18 points. 2 minutes to go, and Kentucky leads 55-29. Dotson of Houston moves in. Calvert picked off, and they call Calvert for trying to fight off of the pick. It's the third foul on Calvert.
Foul by number 10, Calvert.
Calvert apparently will be lifted now as Coach Adolph Rupp comes off the bench, and Bill Cassidy comes off with a sweat jacket as again Ash is going to the free throw line. Of course, Kentucky plays a fighting man-to-man, and it's costing them now as they're being picked off of there. Calvert comes out, and Bill Cassidy makes his first appearance of the night, 20-year-old junior from Inez. He's 6'2", weighs 191. Cassidy has scored 13 points this season. Best night was against Miami, where he scored 5 of his 13 points. Ash of Houston, he shoots and misses. Tapped off and taken by Bill Cassidy. The southpaw drives into front court on the right side, feeds Brewer in the corner, fakes a jump shot, hooks a pass out to Cassidy, who sets it up now with Adrian Smith. Down the left side to Krigler, back to Smith. Cassidy goes through, gets the ball, double teamed, a whistle at the baseline, and a foul against Jimmy Ash of Houston is his first one. Now, 1 minute and 33 seconds in this first half, with a score 55-29 in favor of Kentucky. Cassidy makes his first appearance of the night at the free throw line. He's got one try coming, and it's good.
Cassidy shooting the bonus.
A bonus shot to the 6'2" junior, a left-hander who keeps the feet right in close together with Smith and Brewer off on the sides. He shoots good. Kentucky leading now 57-29. Incoming pass is to Houston's Larry Bird. Over to McElvin, back to Bird in front court. Whips into the pivot to Patapersti, and Krigler's picked off. That's Krigler's third personal foul. Now we've got 4 Wildcats, each with 3 personals. Hatton, Cox, and Calvert, who are not in the game, and Krigler, who's still in. Well, Kentucky's going to have to watch as the game is being very closely officiated, and they're going to have to quit fighting through those. Here's the free throw, no good. Taken off by Dotson of Houston, breaks in, hooks up short. Rebounding, it's still a free ball. Picked up by Johnny Brewer, ganged and gets it out to Beck. Up to Cassidy, who drives quickly in front court as Ray Mills waits to get in for Kentucky. Over to Adrian Smith, breaks down the middle, and he's called for charging. That's the first foul on Adrian Smith. Ray Mills making his first appearance for Kentucky as John Krigler will come out of the forward position. Mills, a 23-year-old senior, is from Manchester. He played his high school basketball at Clay County. Mills is 6'4", weighs 199. He got 2 points last night against VPI. 20 for the season. His best night was against Duke, where he scored 11 points. Andy McElvin of Houston's on the free throw line for the first time in the game, and he hits it. So Kentucky's lead right now is 27 points. Their biggest lead of the game had been 28. The bonus shot, no good. Adrian Smith rebounds for Kentucky. Up the way to Johnny Brewer on a 2-2 break. Passes one that's knocked down. Ray Mills recovers on the deep left side. Free throw line deep, then passes out to Smith. Over to Cassidy. He sets, and here's a 40-footer. It's good. Cassidy, with his first field goal of the night, puts Kentucky on top 59-30. And here's McElvin as we go into the last minute of play, crossing into attack court for Houston. Gives over to Bird, gives over to Ash at the free throw line, breaks to the right, gives to Dotson. He hooks, and it's good. Danny Dotson gets his second field goal of the game, and it's 59-32. Kentucky leading as Adrian Smith gives to Cassidy in front court. Moves to the right, comes back to the left, and passes to Smith. Down the right side to Johnny Brewer. Beck playing a high pivot at the free throw line as Brewer hooks out to Cassidy. Kentucky setting it up now with 30 seconds to go here in the first half. Adrian Smith down the right side, comes back outside, passing to Cassidy. He moves to the left on a one-bounce dribble, then whips to Ray Mills. One-bounce dribble and over to Adrian Smith. Moving to the left, back to the right, he double dribbled. Forgot that he had laid it down for one bounce. With 15 seconds to go, Houston put it in too quickly, and the ball will go back over to Houston. 7 seconds to go, and the clock's on the move, so the Cougars apparently will take one more shot. Here it is, Danny Dotson breaks in, whips over to the right side, and Ash does not get the shot away. So at the end of the first half of play, the score is Kentucky 59, Houston 32. We're getting Jackie Welch at a guard. WELCH, his first appearance in the game. The tap deep in the court is taken by Welch. Wide open, lays it in with nobody near him. Welch, 6 feet, weighs 175. Is a 20-year-old sophomore from Enid, Oklahoma. Calvert, high, pass to Beck at the top rim of the circle in front court. Over to Calvert, back to Beck. Jump shot, it's good. 15-footer. As Ed Beck opens up with his third field goal and 8th point, Kentucky leads 61-34. Here's Welch back in front court for Houston. Down the right side to Larry Bird, who moves out. He feeds Sam Sells, breaking to the right against Hatton. Can't get a shot away, and then passes out deep to Dotson. Dotson over to Welch, back to Sells, threatened down the middle, and Hatton cut him off. To Patapersti, who's deep into the left with Beck playing him very loosely. Flips to Bird right in the face, but he holds on, and over to Patapersti. The big guy, 6'7", takes it out deep and straight away. Over to Dotson now. He's deep into the left with Calvert playing him very loosely, feeling behind for the pick that's there. Hatton picks him up, and the shot's good from the top rim of the circle. Dotson's third field goal of the game. It's 61-36 as Hatton moves back in front court for the Wildcats. Down the left side to Cox to Calvert, who's cut off. Takes a one-bounce dribble and passes out to Johnny Brewer. Bounce pass over to Vernon Hatton, deep into the right with Dotson on him. Moves in, 20-foot jump shot, it's good. Vernon Hatton with his 4th field goal and 13th point puts the Cats on top 63-36. Here's Ray Welch of Houston in front court, passing to the left to Patapersti, who breaks in against Beck, drops the ball, picks it up, fades, and as it's picked up by Sam Sells, he takes an extra step, and it's over to Kentucky in backcourt. Hatton out of bounds passes to Calvert, who has to hustle to get loose from Sam Sells, picking up. Gets it, high and knocked away by Patapersti from Beck, right back to Calvert, to Beck, who hooks it driving. Heads up ball as Beck picks up another field goal, his 4th of the ball game. His 10th point. Kentucky 65, Houston 36. Welch breaks down the right side for Houston. Bounce pass goes into Bird with Brewer on him at the baseline to the right of the basket. Can't get a shot away. Gives over to Welch out of the right corner. He hit it. Jackie Welch gets his second field goal, both of them in this half of play, and it's 65-38 in favor of Kentucky as they move back in. Hatton cuts to go, double team, pulls up at the free throw line and gives out to Calvert, who moves away to set it up. Fakes down the right side, gives over to Hatton, down the left to Johnny Brewer. He moves out, gives to Calvert. He sets and breaks in on Welch, and a 20-foot jump shot's good. Jerry Calvert with his 6th field goal. He leads in that department, by the way. Gives Kentucky an advantage of 67-38. Welch to Dotson in front court of Houston. He moves to the right on a one-bounce dribble, feeds over to Sells, Sells, who holds it up over his head, and then Bird charges into Cox on a break for the basket and commits his 3rd foul of the game. He did not have the ball, incidentally. He was going to make a break, and Cox had the position on him. So we played 2.5 minutes of this second half. And up is Johnny Cox, who's hit 8 out of 10. He's shooting 1, as again the foul is committed in offensive court. Cox pounds the ball into the floor, sighting down at the free throw line. Then from between the knees, he shoots and hits his 19th point of the game. Cox has a bonus shot coming, a chance to go to the 20th point of the game. From between the knees, he hits it. And the score is Kentucky 69, Houston 38, and Calvert picking up in backcourt calls 4 Cougars to come in to move it up. And Jackie Welch in against Cox, gives over the head of Hatton to Sells, and a foul against Vernon Hatton from the rear is his 4th of the ball game. Coach Adolph Rupp from the bench yells something out to Hatton, apparently leaving him in, and 2 shots are being awarded to Sells of Houston, who has not been on the free throw line previously. Sells, who wears a tennis type shoe also, shoots and hits. We have 17 minutes and 22 seconds to go. Kentucky is not in action until next Saturday against Georgia Tech at home. Here's the shot, no good. Rebounded by Cox. Shakes himself clear like a big St. Bernard. Then is fouled from the rear, still shaking by Sam Sells, who pats him on the back. It's the second foul on Sells of Houston. And once again, the foul is committed up in the offensive court. It would be interesting if that record would have been kept on this game. How many of this multitude of fouls have been committed in offensive court? Cox is on the free throw line, where he has hit 10 out of 12. 17-17 on the clock as he drops in his 21st point. The Cats hit the 70 mark now, matching the jersey number of John Brewer as Cox flips the bonus shot, misses everything, and Houston will take it off the side of the backcourt. The incoming pass is to Jackie Welch, who mows up against Brewer, mows into the free throw line, over to Bird on the right side and out to Dotson. Dotson, a big husky 6'3" guard, waves Welch in, same time calling Sells out, who gets it. Moves in against Hatton, flips off to Bird, breaks for the basket against Hatton. The shot's no good. Little Sells rebounds for Houston. Cox blocks his shot. Sells picks it up in the 3-second zone, passes out, and Bird walks with it. Oh, check it. It's Welch in there for 3 seconds. Here's Brewer now, pulling up on the right side in front court with it. Looks for somebody open. Eyes back in the pivot, then gets to Hatton down the right side. Breaks for the basket. Here's a foul against Welch. It's the first foul against Jackie Welch of Houston. Sends Vernon Hatton to the Kentucky free throw line, where he has hit 5 out of 6. 16 minutes and 39 seconds in this ball game, as Hatton, with one shot coming, shoots short. Taken off by Houston's Bird, knocked down and out of bounds by Bird, though, as Cox put pressure on him. Kentucky 70, Houston 39. Ed Beck will put it in play. The Cats line up in a straight line from the free throw line to the left. The pass is deep to Johnny Brewer on the left side. He mows it out to set it up now. Hatton moves down the right side, actually in a forward position. Gets it, moves again on Welch. 3 men pick him up and foul him as he jumps to shoot, no good. This one's against Patapersti, and it's his 4th one. So now 2 big guns of Houston have picked up 4. Boone, who's not in the game, and Patapersti, the 6'7" center. Hatton, who's on the free throw line, has also committed 4. Vernon's hit 5 out of 7 here at the free throw line. He's got 2 coming this time, and the first try is right in there. Hatton up for his second shot with 16 minutes, 20 seconds in the ball game. Andy McElvin is being waved into a Houston guard position. Welch is coming out.
Number 30, McElvin, is replaced Welch.
Hatton on the line, puts the left foot right for the stripe, draws the right back, pulls the ball up to sight, and a two-handed free throw from between the knees is good. So the score now is 72-39 in favor of Kentucky for the Sugar Bowl championship. Bird in front court for Houston, breaks and turns away from Cox, gives over to McElvin, out to Dotson. Deep and slightly to the left against Calvert, who has those antennas, his hands going to make sure nobody's back there for a pick. Here's a pass rip right between McElvin and Pataperski. Goes out of bounds to Kentucky as it's knocked away by McElvin from Brewer on the incoming pass. Kentucky takes it. Pass to Cox, fakes to break and has it taken away from him. McElvin of Houston scoops it up. High pass to Bird, 2-on-1, shooting Sells. Good. Sam Sells gets his first field goal of the game to make it 72-41. Kentucky leading. Here's Hatton, gets it back as Sells was picking up on him over to Calvert, who moves in front court. Calvert crisscrosses, coming outside Hatton, pulled up deep as Sells stabs constantly for the ball. Over to Johnny Brewer, moves down the right side, gives a high pass to Beck on the pivot, out to Calvert, over to Hatton. Balanced court, now it's overloaded to the left as Calvert shoots, good from 30 feet. 7th field goal for Calvert, who has at least 2 more than anybody else. 74-41 for the Wildcats. Driving in now, Houston goes to the attack. Dotson fires and misses to the right side for Houston. They get the rebound, though. Here's Johnny Brewer blocking Sam Sells as he goes for the basket, and Sells charging his 3rd foul. Jackie Welch comes back in for the Cougars, and Larry Bird departs. Now here's Bernie Kapner coming in for the Cougars. Kapner was in the first half, but didn't score. Now timeout taken by Houston. It's the 3rd of the ball game, all of them by Houston. And let's us pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Standard Oil Sports Network.
WVLK, Lexington, Kentucky, where you're invited to hear the Cotton Bowl and Rose Bowl games on New Year's Day.
Once again, this is Claude Sullivan speaking from the site of the Sugar Bowl championship game here in New Orleans, Louisiana, where the score is Kentucky 74, Houston 41. Kentucky's next action, by the way, will be 1 week from tonight. Next Saturday, January 5, when the Wildcats play the Engineers of Georgia Tech in the first of 14 Southeastern Conference games. After tonight's game, Kentucky has only 2 more intersectional games, both against Loyola of Chicago. The first meeting, by the way, will come up 1 week from Monday, January 7th at the Coliseum, as the Cats now will be departing on the final 16 games of the season. They hold a record of 7-2 coming into this game, which is exactly where they stood after 9 games last year. But the 9th game last season came well up into January. Johnny Brewer of Kentucky going to the line has 2 shots. He had 2 in the first half and missed them both. 15 minutes, 14 seconds in this ball game. Kentucky has picked up 5 field goals in the second half for a total of 24. Calvert and Beck each have 2, and Hatton has 1 in this second half of play as we line up to check off defensive assignments with 2 changes in the Cougar lineup. Brewer in will have 1 and 1. Correct us on it. He shoots and hits. That's his 3rd point of the game and draws the bonus shot as Kentucky picks up 75 points. Brewer's 2nd shot, the bonus try, is good. Kentucky leads 76-41. Now Houston goes back to the attack with McElvin moving in front court with it. Down the left side to Danny Dotson. He gets his left up, doesn't get it away. And Calvert jumps in on him, and a foul is called against Calvert. It's his 4th one. So now each team is playing with 2 men. Hatton and Calvert of Kentucky, and Boone and Pursty of Houston, each with 4 fouls. On the free throw line, Dotson, who hasn't missed tonight, drops in his 3rd straight. Dotson now will take the bonus shot. It's good. Kentucky leading 76-43 as Hatton breaks down the left side with it, bounces out to Calvert at the top of the circle, whips back to Hatton on the left side, fakes, gives back to Calvert, he sets, 30-footer is short, off of the rim and deep. Foul on Calvert, and that's his last one. Jerry Calvert fouls out of the ball game with 14 minutes, 52 seconds to play and gets a fine hand. Calvert has 14 points as he leaves the game with 7 field goals, more than anybody else. Kentucky has lost 2 games this season to St. Louis and Duke, and in each game, Calvert fouled out. By the way, the most points Kentucky has scored in the first half this season was the 58 against Washington and Lee. So they bettered that tonight with 59 in the first half. Now, on the free throw line, McElvin misses and Beck rebounds. So the Wildcats have possession with Adrian Smith, who's replaced Calvert, passing down the right side to Brewer, out to Hatton, who's also got 4 on him. Hatton breaks, gets 3 men on him, shoots anyway, and it's good. Cox tapped it while it's on the rim, but Hatton gets credit for his 5th field goal as Kentucky leads 78-43. Down the left side for Houston to Jackie Welch as Earl Atkins comes off the Kentucky bench now. Welch breaks into the 3-second zone. Brewer blocks his shot, picked up by Paderewski, and it's good on a 2-handed jump shot. For Paderewski, it's his 4th field goal. Kentucky leading 78-45 as Cox pumps from 10 feet and misses. Brewer slaps up no good. Tapped up by Paderewski, then by Brewer. It's no good, dribbles off. Knocked down and out of bounds by Dotson of Houston. Earl Atkins has a chance to get into the game now as the clock is stopped. Atkins coming back in. He played in the first half, but did not score. Vernon Hatton is coming out of the Kentucky lineup. He's got 4 personals on him as Ed Beck stands out of bounds to the left of the basket over the baseline, puts it in play to Brewer, right up the way about 10 feet. He backs away to set it up. Whips to Beck in the pivot, breaks by. Beck double team, turns, takes a jump shot that's short and off the rim to Dotson of Houston. Up the way to McElvin, breaking in against Adrian Smith down the left side. Passes deep to Dotson. High and away to the right, goes to Jackie Welch. Welch in a crouch, has Brewer playing him very loosely. He gives over to McElvin to Kapner. Kapner moves left, cuts right against Atkins, drives to the baseline, takes a jump shot that's good, and a foul against Earl Atkins of Kentucky. The goal does not count. Kapner's on the line for 1 shot as Atkins commits his 2nd personal foul. Kapner had a free throw in the first half and missed it. KAPNER. 13 minutes, 35 seconds in the ball game. Championship of the Sugar Bowl at stake. Kentucky leading 78-45. Kapner shoots and hits. Kapner back in for the bonus shot. Sights, and here it is, good. 78-47 in favor of Kentucky as Earl Atkins gets the incoming pass to Smith and back to Atkins, moving in front court, starting to the right and then backing away. Beck, Cox, and Brewer still the three starters in the ball game. Pass hooked into Adrian Smith, who flips it up no good. Smith called for charging. That's his second foul of the game. So here's the long march the full length of the court. 13 minutes and 24 seconds in the ball game. The count is 78-47 in favor of Kentucky. It's McElvin on the Houston free throw line where he has missed 2 out of 3. He shoots and misses again. Brewer taps across the alley to Atkins, and who throws it right into McElvin, goes in against Beck and hits it. McElvin's second field goal of the game. Here's another steal by Welch of Houston down the right to Patapersti as Krigler comes off the Kentucky bench. Pass goes out deep to Welch, left wide open for a 20-footer. It's good. Third field goal for Welch, all in this half, and timeout Kentucky as Houston picks up 2 quick field goals, stealing the ball in back court with 13 minutes to go. Here's Larry Bird checking in for Houston now. Earl Atkins comes out of the lineup. John Krigler is in for the first time in the second half. Krigler got 8 points in the first half of play. Well, let us remind you that we'll be back with you over these same stations next Saturday night at 7:45 Central Standard Time. That's for the Kentucky-Georgia Tech game from Memorial Coliseum in Lexington. Kentucky 78, Houston 51. Another 13 minutes to play in this championship game of the Sugar Bowl. Our consolation game tonight went to Alabama, 62-47 over VPI, as the Crimson Tide finished in third place. Ready to go back to play now. Kentucky in possession of the ball under the Houston basket, and the Cougars are going to pick them up in back court. Adrian Smith and Johnny Brewer playing the guards. Beck, Cox, and Krigler round out the lineup. Passes into Smith. He moves up the back court and crosses the dividing line. Crisscrosses and gives out to Johnny Brewer. Down the right side to Krigler and back to Brewer. Smith goes through, pass to Cox, breaks into the right. 3 men go for him, and he shoots and misses. Beck taps it up. Cox taps it in. For Johnny Cox, that's his 6th field goal. And Kentucky leads 80-51. Hyman in front court to Bird on the right side. As he breaks out, he walks with it. Goes back over to Kentucky. Adrian Smith passes into Johnny Brewer. 2 men goes for him. He digs in, comes in front court, passes to Beck, back to Adrian Smith. Smith is cut down as he's called for walking with it. Smith helped to the floor now. Ball goes out of bounds to Houston on the side of the back court. Smith was way in the air then. Now here's Welch with it down in the right corner with Cox on him. Passes back out to McElvin. Got Brewer on him. Comes into the top rim of the circle. Back over to Welch. Back out to Larry Bird. Krigler on him. Playing him rather tightly out deep over to Patapersti. Patapersti moves into the top rim of the circle. Gets to Welch. Cox stabs for the ball. Can't get to it. Over to McElvin. Breaks in against Johnny Brewer. The shot no good. Taken off by Beck. Cat's fast break. This is up to Cox to Smith, who walks again. And off the bench, Bill Cassidy of Kentucky. Out of bounds, Andy McElvin of Houston passes into Bernie Kapner. Crosses the 10-second stripe, hands off to Welch. He takes from the top of the circle and misses. Kapner rebounds. Smith goes up, but the shot bounces off, comes back, and on the side, taken off by McElvin, who lays it in. Andy McElvin of Houston gets his 3rd field goal. Here's another timeout. This one by Kentucky again. They're second of the ball game with 11 and a half minutes to play. Kentucky 80, Houston 53. Adrian Smith is out of the ball game as Bill Cassidy is back in. He was in the first half and picked up 4 points. And back in for Houston is Russell Boone, who committed 4 personals in the first half. Jerry Calvert fouled out after 5 minutes and 8 seconds of this second half. And Vernon Hatton, who's not in the game at the moment, has 4 personals. Patapersti and Boone in for Houston now have each committed 4 personals. Kentucky had a 59-32 edge at halftime. However, the Cougars have been pushing them in here in the second half and now have 53 points, while Kentucky has picked up 21 points and lead 80-53. Warning horn sounds and ready to go back to play. Kentucky is in possession under the Houston basket. Johnny Brewer, Bill Cassidy now at the guards. Krigler, Cox, and Beck round out the lineup. Houston going to try and pick up again. Johnny Brewer will put the ball in play. Cassidy breaks in to get the pass. Has it. Southpaw gives up to Brewer. It's knocked up in the air by Kepner. Picked up by Brewer. Fed right back to Cassidy, who breaks in against Larry Bird. Double teamed. Has it knocked down. Picked up. Feeds to Krigler on the right side. Krigler holds on. Passes out to Cassidy. In the pivot to Beck. Fakes. Gives off to Brewer. Breaking to the right side. Hooks under there to Krigler, who shoots and hits the underside of the rim. Knocked down. Picked up by Beck out deep. Flips it off the right side to Cassidy. He's open, and a 10-footer's good. Bill Cassidy with his second field goal makes it Kentucky 82, Houston 53. We got 11 minutes to go. High pass over the head of Bird is out of bounds to Kentucky. Nope, check it. Houston is apparently was touched by Cassidy as it took off from Kepner to knock it up over the head of Bird. Kepner out of bounds at the baseline, passes into Bird. Covered by Krigler, can't shoot out to McElvin. He breaks in. Krigler switches off to cover him over to Kepner, who takes it into the left corner. Now moves up this left side and passes out to Boone. Here's an official's timeout as, Welch came out of those low-cut tennis shoes, and they had to call an official's timeout to let him get his shoe back on. A couple of the Cougars do not wear basketball shoes. They wear tennis shoes. Here's Welch out deep, driving in against Cox. Gives off to Patapersti, over to Kepner. Breaks for the basket, shoots. A beautiful block of the shot by Cassidy, and it's out of bounds to Houston under their own basket. 10.5 minutes to play. And Kepner came out of his tennis shoes. So apparently, we'll have to hold up now to let the Cougars get their shoes on. McElvin also wears tennis shoes. Welch in tennis shoes lost his a moment ago. Now Kepner, who also wears tennis shoes, or the slipper type of shoe. It actually has a basketball sole and not a tennis sole. Here's Kepner with a high lob pass that Cox takes away from Kepner and goes down against McElvin on a fast break, and he's fouled by McElvin of Houston. And it's his fourth one. So McElvin, Boone, and Patapersti of the Cougars play with 4 personals. Johnny Cox on the Kentucky free throw line has hit 11 out of 14. Cox is on the line for 2 tries. 10 minutes, 17 seconds in the ball game as Cox shoots and hits. Cox has 25 points in this ball game. He leads all scorers. 18 in the first half. Second shot's good. Cox 26th point. Kentucky leads by 84 to 53. Wildcats hold a 31-point advantage as we near the midpoint of this second half. Here's McElvin breaking to the baseline near the right for Houston. Hooks out. Here's a break against Beck, and a shot by Boone. It's good. Russell Boone gets his 3rd field goal. Here's a pass into Beck. Over to Brewer. Houston putting on the full court press now. Brewer down the right side to Krigler. He's open, and a 20-foot shot is no good. Off the rim, Krigler gets his own rebound, and a whistle from the outside. Foul is against Bird, and it's his 4th one. So now Houston has 4 men on the floor, each playing with 4 personal fouls. John Krigler on the Kentucky free throw line has 1 try coming, and it's no good. Cox taps it right back, and Krigler shoots and misses. Beck taps it up. Cox taps it up. Krigler taps it up, and Kepner takes it off for Houston, passes out to McElvin. He moves down the right side of the offensive court, left open, he shoots and misses. Comes off, and a shot by Boone is no good. A fight for the ball. Krigler of Kentucky comes up with it. Up to Beck, to Brewer, to Cassidy, who moves past the stripe. Houston not picking up in backcourt then. Over it goes to Johnny Brewer. So we have 9.5 minutes to play. High pass to Cox in the left corner. Back up the left side to Johnny Brewer. Takes it out deep. Pass goes to Beck. Turnaround jump shot. It's no good. Glances off of the rim to Houston as it's pulled in by McElvin. Whips a high pass up that Cassidy of Kentucky knocks out of bounds and into the scoring table. Jackie Welch of Houston will put it in play. Passes to McElvin. Southpaw moves in. Pulls up, gives back to Welch to his left. He moves to the right, cuts in to go on Cox. Here's a whistle from the outside. Foul on Johnny Cox is his 4th one. We have 9 minutes in the ball game as Jackie Welch of Houston makes his first appearance at the free throw line. He did not play in the first half, but started the second half and has picked up 3 field goals. Kentucky leading 84 to 55 as Ray Mills comes off with a warm-up jacket. Welch on the line for 1 shot for the Cougars of Houston. First time these 2 schools have ever met in basketball. He shoots and misses. Cox taps behind him to Bill Cassidy. Moves up in front court with it. Double team. Ball knocked down. He holds on. Pivots, passes to Cox down the right side. He takes a 20-foot jump shot that's to the left. Glances off the rim to Krigler, who passes outside to Cassidy. Cassidy moves over to set it up. Passes down the right to Cox. Here he goes with a jump shot. It's no good again. Fight for the ball as it comes off to Houston this time. Welch up to Kapner on a pass that he runs down for a 2-1 fast break. He shoots, and it's good. Kapner gets his first field goal of the ball game, and Kentucky's lead now is 84-57. Here's Cassidy caught in backcourt as the Cougars pick up. Cassidy kicks it in front court. It's picked up by the Cougars and fired to Bird. Breaks in 3-on-1 against Beck. Over to McElvin, who lays it in. McElvin gets his fourth field goal. Here's another timeout by Kentucky. Their third of the ball game, all in the second half. Houston called 3 in the first half. Here's Vernon Hatton and Ray Mills coming in for the Wildcats. Mills was in the first half but didn't score. Hatton was taken out in this half after he committed his fourth personal foul. So right now, with 8 minutes, 14 seconds to play, the score is Kentucky 84, Houston 59. The Wildcats took a lead of 59-32 at halftime, and they have more or less 51.3% of their shots in the first half of the game. Most points ever scored in a Sugar Bowl game was scored by LSU. In a 2-overtime game with Villanova back in 1952, the Bayou Bengals hit 100 points in winning by 6. The most points in a regulation game, 84, has already been tied. So the next point for the Wildcats will be a new Sugar Bowl scoring record for a single game. Right now we have Mills and Krigler at the forwards, Beck at the pivot, and we have Brewer, and here's the ball taken away from the Cats as we go back to play. Over on the side, Bird shoots, and it's good. Larry Bird gets his second field goal of the game. Johnny Brewer in backcourt comes past the line this time. A high one to Ray Mills on the left side. Out to Beck and to Vernon Hatton deep as we go into the last 8 minutes of play. Hatton down to the right side to Krigler. Back to Hatton, over to Johnny Brewer. Pass to the pivot to Beck. Back to Hatton. He fakes to shoot from the outside and pulls it in. Then moves down the right side, draws 2 men in on him and gives a high pass to Beck. Out to Johnny Brewer. Down the right side to Hatton. Moves up deep. Passes to Beck. On the right side to Krigler. Krigler moves up the side. Whips one over to Vernon Hatton. Hatton gets 2 men on him. Bounces over to Krigler. Krigler woos down the right side. Turns. Draws 2 men. Moves away from them. Coming out deep with the ball. Over to Vernon Hatton. Down the left side to Brewer. Back to Hatton to Brewer. On the left side to Mills. Mills has it knocked away by McElvin and out of bounds to Kentucky. Kentucky 84. Houston 61 as the Cougars are now pressing the Wildcats. Vernon Hatton out deep, passes over to Johnny Brewer. Brewer moves in, pulls up, gives to Beck, and it's knocked down by McElvin of Houston. And a foul is called against Brewer of Kentucky. For Johnny Brewer, that's his third foul. Well, Kentucky's lead right now is 23 points, but it's being threatened by these battling Cougars. McElvin on the free throw line has hit 1, missed 3. He has 1 coming, and it's good. Bonus shot for McElvin. Kentucky has not been running anything here since they've been picked up by the Cougars. Johnny Brewer in back court has nobody with him and passes high to Krigler in front court. Ray Mills wide open under the basket. Krigler did not spot him out deep. Passes on the right side to Johnny Brewer. Moves in wide open from 5 feet. He misses. Hatton rebounds and lays it up. No good. Beck taps it in, or Krigler taps it in. Krigler's third field goal. Kentucky leading 86-63. Larry Bird of Houston moves back in now. Drives in against Krigler. His shot's blocked by Krigler, and they call him for pushing with the body. So now Krigler has 4 fouls. Cox, Krigler, and Hatton all have 4 fouls. Calvert fouled out of the game after 5 minutes and 8 seconds of this second half. Larry Bird of Houston is up. He's hit 2 out of 3. He's got 1 coming. 6 minutes and 36 seconds to play. Bird taking plenty of time, now ready, hits. Bird has the bonus shot. Chance to cut Kentucky's lead back to 21 points. Bird on the line. Takes plenty of time as he flips the ball around in his hands. Then shoots quickly, and it's good. Kentucky 86, Houston 65. Houston picking up. They got Krigler wide open. He picks it up, shoots, and is tripped by Jackie Welch of Houston. Second foul on Welch. 6.5 minutes to play. John Krigler of Kentucky goes to the free throw line now, where he's hit 4 out of 5. Krigler has 2 tries coming. Ready for the first one. That's good. Kentucky leading 87-65, holding a 22-point advantage. They had 27 points at the half. Houston has outscored them here in the second half. Second shot good by Krigler. Now Kentucky starts picking up with an 88-65 lead. Back up in front court comes Larry Bird of Houston. Goes in against Krigler, then hands off to McElvin. Breaks away from Brewer, but stopped by Krigler. Gives over to Larry Bird. Down on the baseline to the right to Boone. Shot good. Jump shot by Russell Boone for his fourth field goal. Into Vernon Hatton as they continue to pick up in backcourt up to Brewer. He breaks in, passes off on the right to Krigler. 10-foot jump shot's good. John Krigler gets his fourth field goal and the most points he scored in a game this season. 14. Kentucky leading 90-67 as Beck cuts it off in the Houston pivot, hooks a pass over to Johnny Brewer, gets it away from Kapner, who drives for him, then moves up in front court down the left side to Vernon Hatton as Beck was stripped coming across the dividing line. Here's Hatton bouncing over to Johnny Brewer, down the right side to Krigler, 15-foot jump shot, it's good. Man, Krigler sacked up 6 points in a row here. 6 field goals for him tonight, and Houston wants timeout. Their fourth of the ball game, as Kentucky has now moved out on top 92-67. The Cougars made a run at them, got to within 21 points. Right now, the Wildcats have opened it up to within 2 of the 27-point advantage they held at halftime. 5 minutes and 36 seconds remain to play. Well, Johnny Cox, here in the second half, has picked up 17 points. He has a total of 25 now. Ed Beck has 4 points in this half and a total of 10. John Krigler in this half has picked up 8 points for a total of 16. His best previous night was 12 against SMU last Friday. Vernon Hatton in this half has hit for 6 points and a total of 17. And Bill Cassidy's hit 2 points in this half for a total of 6 now. Johnny Brewer has 2 points in this half for a total of 4. The warning horn sounds, and 5 minutes, 36 seconds remain to play with Houston in possession at the dividing line. Kentucky's lineup remains unchanged. Houston moving out now. They came into this game tonight with a record of 3 wins and 5 losses. Upsetting Alabama last night. The Tide tonight beat VPI for third place, and back to play as the pass is into Andy McElvin. Kapner goes through, the pass is over to Welch, who's deep and to the right against Ray Mills. Drives in on Mills, here's a whistle from the outside, and walking is called against Welch. Clock is stopped as the ball goes up into the stands. Vernon Hatton out of bounds. Now a foul has been called against Houston. It's a technical foul called against Houston as they threw the ball up into the stands. So it is a technical foul going against Jackie Welch, who threw the ball away. And Vernon Hatton of Kentucky will shoot, and it is no good. And Kentucky will put the ball in play from the dividing line. The incoming passes from Brewer to Hatton. Houston has abandoned the full court press. Down the left side to Mills. Breaks in. Takes a 10-foot jump shot. That's no good. Krigler taps up and just rolls off the rim. Then Boone takes it off, and Krigler picks him up, knocks it out of bounds up into the scoring table. Houston's got him out of bounds. 5 minutes to play. Down the right side, the passes to McElvin, who moves out to the top of the circle. Off the left to Larry Bird. Breaks out, double team, flips out to Kapner. Kapner down the right side to McElvin. Breaks out against Brewer to the free throw line. Then passes back to the right side to Kapner in the corner. Quick jump shot over Hatton is short. Off the rim to Beck. And as he moves in to get it, a foul is called against McElvin of Houston. And that's all of it. McElvin fouls out of the ball game with 4 minutes and 51 seconds to play. Comes out with 11 points after getting 9 against Alabama last night in the upset. McElvin had 4 field goals and 3 out of 6 free throws. McElvin incidentally picked up 8 of his 11 points here in the second half. He's being replaced by Danny Dotson, the captain. Johnny Brewer is on the Kentucky free throw line, shooting 1. He's hit 2 out of 4. Fires it good. Bonus shot to Brewer as Kentucky leads 93-67. And the Wildcats, who have already set a new scoring record in this Sugar Bowl tournament, now threaten to set an all-time record as LSU's 100 points was in a double overtime. Jackie Welch is out of the Houston lineup and replaced by Doc Jones. It's good by Johnny Brewer, and the score is 94-67 as Abe Collinsworth comes in to replace Johnny Brewer. Collinsworth from Salyersville, Kentucky. Now, here's the attack by Houston as Kapner takes it to the top of the circle. Passes out deep to Dotson now. Kentucky leading 94-67. Passes over to Doc Jones, breaks down the middle and hits a one-handed jump shot. First field goal for Doc Jones, who's 6 feet, weighs 165. Hatton out of bounds, throws it into Beck, and Boone of Houston knocks it right back out. So Hatton passes in as Houston goes into the full court press again. Hatton pulls up in backcourt, gives over to Collinsworth, up to Beck, down the right side to Krigler, has it knocked away by Jones, and it's a foul on Doc Jones. Nope, let's check it. Yep, it's Doc Jones of Houston with his first personal. Each team has lost a man in this game. McElvin of Houston with 11 points. Calvert of Kentucky with 14 as they foul out. Krigler is on the line for one shot. He's hit 6 out of 7. This one's no good. Kapner rebounds for Houston. Over to Bird, breaking in 2-on-2 against Collinsworth and Hatton. Hook out to Kapner. 25-footer is short. Taken off beautifully by Ray Mills. Holds on, has it knocked down, then picked up by Ed Beck, and Mills is called for pushing. For Ray Mills, it's personal foul number 1. 4 minutes and 4 seconds to go. Let's take 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Standard Oil Sports Network.
WVLK, Lexington, Kentucky, broadcasting the Cotton Bowl and Rose Bowl games New Year's Day.
Kapner of Houston shooting the free throw good. He's hit 3 out of 4 tonight. Kapner in for a bonus shot as Kentucky's lead right now is 94-70. Kapner looks up and shoots. It's good. 94-71. Kentucky leads. Houston picking up. Pass into Collinsworth. Flips it off to Ed Beck. Rips one to Mills in front court. Over to Collinsworth. Mows in down the middle. Gives to Krigler, who lays it in. John Krigler gets his 7th field goal. That equals the 7 for Jerry Calvert as the Cats lead 96-71. Here is Harold Ross coming off with a warm-up jacket. Now here's Doc Jones of Houston shooting a one-hander that's no good. Rebound taken off by Vernon Hatton of Kentucky, who moves in front court and then abruptly pulls up. Passes over to Collinsworth, his running mate at guard. Collinsworth moves to the right and Kapner fouls him. It's the first foul of the ball game against Kapner. And here's Harold Ross coming into the Kentucky lineup. So far, we have had 52 personal fouls in this ball game. And Vernon Hatton comes out. Each team has lost only one man by personals. Abe Collinsworth of Kentucky is on the free throw line shooting. He's got one try coming, and it's no good. Beck rebounds, but it's knocked away from him. Collinsworth in turn knocks it down, and Kapner of Houston picks it up. Mows in front court to the free throw line, pulled up, gets to Bird in the corner, breaks out against Ross and shoots. No good. Taken off by Ross of Kentucky. Ross from Hickman, junior, moves up in front court for the Wildcats. Down the left side, here's Mills breaking, hooks it in good. For Ray Mills, his first field goal of the game. Kentucky 98-71. They need 2 points to tie the all-time scoring record here. 3 minutes, 7 seconds to go as Houston calls its last time out of the game. 5 times out for Houston. LSU scored 100 points against Villanova in a double overtime game. So now, if Kentucky can pick up 3 more points, they set an all-time record. Only one time have we gone over the century mark in Sugar Bowl play. Bill Smith and Dick Howe coming into the Kentucky lineup. Howe, a 20-year-old sophomore from Carbondale, Illinois, is 6'5" and weighs 208. Has 10 points this season, all of them against Miami. Average per game production of 2.5 points. Also in the lineup for the Wildcats, Krigler and Beck are coming out. Bill Smith, 22-year-old junior from Walton, Kentucky, 6'5", weighs 203. He has an average of 3 points a game this year. He scored 6, 4 of them against Miami. Well, the records will fall in this Sugar Bowl tournament. We're quite certain here as Houston goes back to the attack for 3 minutes. Here's Doc Jones breaking, and he's fouled by Ray Mills. Second foul against Mills of Kentucky. Doc Jones of Houston is on the free throw line for the first time in the ball game. He's got 2 coming. The first one's no good. We'll be back with you next Saturday for the Kentucky-Georgia Tech game over these same stations at 7:45. Second shot's good. Kentucky 98, Houston 72 as the Wildcats have it in backcourt. Abe Collinsworth passes over to Dick Howe, pulls up just in backcourt, gives to Collinsworth, who crosses the line, moves into the free throw line, has it knocked away from him, taken over by Houston, and a 2-on-1 break against Harold Ross. Moving in with it, giving over to Doc Jones, who misses the shot. Ray Mills rebounds for Kentucky, up the way to Collinsworth, moves into the top of the circle, whips over to Ross, who drops the ball and picks it up and lays it in. Harold Ross gets his first field goal, and 100 points go on the scoreboard for Kentucky. Only the second time in Sugar Bowl history this has been done, and that was in a 2 overtime period game. So now here's Sam Sells of Houston in there at guard, having it taken away from him by Bill Smith. The Cats go down on a fast break. Smith moving over to the right, giving to Collinsworth. Waves it up over his head, looks to Howe in the pivot, gives in the right corner to Bill Smith. And a jump ball is called as Smith kept it over 5 seconds without shooting, passing, or dribbling with a man in defensive position. Collinsworth moves out to jump, and then Dick Howe moves in to jump against Boone. Both boys 6'5", tap to Collinsworth, whips to Mills under the basket, and he's knocked to the floor as he goes to shoot. Foul on Doc Jones of Houston is his second one, with 2 minutes and 11 seconds to play. Ray Mills stands in at the Kentucky free throw line for the first time in the ball game. He has 1 field goal so far. Mills shooting breaks the Sugar Bowl scoring record with 101 points for Kentucky. Mills back in for the second shot. Kentucky has the lowest winning score. Now they have the highest winning score. The second shot good by Mills, and it's 102-72 for the Wildcats. Here's Sells breaking, and he's fouled. This one is against Harold Ross. That's the first foul on Ross. Up to the free throw line for Kentucky is Sam Sells. Shooting, hitting. There's another one coming now. Into the Houston lineup, Ronnie Truitt, Truitt, 21-year-old sophomore from Minden, Indiana. Truitt, 6'2", weighs 175, as Larry Bird comes out. Sells of Houston in for a second shot. Shoots, and he hits. Kentucky leading 102-74. Pass into Harold Ross, in front court to Collinsworth, who pivots and moves down the right side, passes to Bill Smith, 20-foot jump shot, it's good. Bill Smith's first field goal. He incidentally is Kentucky's leading scorer percentage-wise. He was hitting 750% coming into this game. Hits 1 for 1 now. Here's Dotson of Houston shooting from 25 feet and missing. Ball knocked down on the floor, picked up by Sells of the Cougars, drives right, hands off and under the basket, breaking out. Here's a jump shot, no good by Dotson, knocked down by Collinsworth out of bounds to Houston. Kentucky leading 104-74. Kentucky on top here with 1.5 minutes to play. Hook shot into the side of the boards, taken off by Bill Smith of Kentucky, up to Ray Mills, 2-on-1 break, over to Ross, who drops the ball, and it's out of bounds to Houston. Up in front court now, here's Dotson of Houston, 20-foot jump shot missing. Ray Mills of Kentucky rebounds, flips it off to Bill Smith, whips up the way to Collinsworth. Collinsworth out deep with it. Incidentally, this is the most points ever scored by both teams in the tournament, and here's Bill Smith with another jump shot for Kentucky, his second. The highest point total for both teams in the previous game was 173, so we're well above that one. 106-74 the score, as a one-hand turnaround shot is good by Russell Boone of Houston for his 5th field goal. Abe Collinsworth picked up in backcourt, breaks through and comes all the way in. Passes off the right to Dick Howe, out to Bill Smith, breaks in, pitches out to Ross. Ross cuts left, and a 20-foot jump shot's no good. Tapped up by Howe, no good. Tapped up by Mills, no good, who comes in to rebound and hooked. Short, walks with it, out of bounds to Houston. We got 23 seconds to play. She's just about over. Here's the pass in front court to Dotson. Moving down the left side, picked up by Howe. Whistle, a foul, charging against Dotson of Houston, and that is his first foul of the ball game. Kentucky leading 106-76. Well, Kentucky now holds most every record in Sugar Bowl play. They have the highest individual score, the highest team score, the lowest winning score. They have the highest total point production of both teams. The most games played, the most games won. Dick Howe of Kentucky shooting and hitting at the free throw line. Howe gets the bonus shot now. Howe's bonus shot, no good. Tapped in by Ray Mills. Ray Mills with his second field goal makes it 109-76. Collinsworth steals and misses the shot, but in is Ray Mills to get it on a deep rebound. The 15-footer is good. With 3 seconds to go, Mills picks up another field goal, and the ball game is over. Final scores: Kentucky 111, Houston 76. A game that breaks all the records, and we'll have individual scoring for you in just a moment. When you buy an Atlas Cushion Air tire from your Standard Oil dealer, you receive a written guarantee which guarantees that tire against all road hazards for 18 months. No ifs or ands or buts. It says all road hazards, and it means just that. And should anything go wrong with that tire during the guarantee period, You do not have to take it back to the dealer you bought it from. Anywhere you happen to be, in any of the 48 states or Canada, you're not far from one of the 38,000 Atlas dealers who will adjust your guarantee on the spot. A far better guarantee is one of the reasons for the ever-growing popularity of Atlas tires sold by Standard Oil dealers. Well, Sugar Bowl Chairman Monk Simons, gentleman you heard with us here at halftime tonight, is out on the floor to present the medals and trophies to Kentucky and Houston. Here's the individual scoring on the ball game. Jerry Calvert of Kentucky fouled out with 14 minutes and 52 seconds to play and had 14 points on 7 field goals. Johnny Cox tonight ended up with 25 points as he hit 6 field goals and on the free throw line hit 13 out of 16. Ed Beck tonight finished up with 10 points, 4 field goals and 2 free throws. Dick Howe had 1 point as he hit 1 out of 2 at the free throw line. Earl Atkins did not score. John Krigler had his best night in scoring for the entire season. He hit 20 points tonight. First time in his college career he's been in the 20s. Best night was 12 against SMU. For Adrian Smith, he was in the ball game but did not score. Vernon Hatton tonight has picked up 17 points, 5 field goals, and he hit 7 out of 10 free throws. Bill Cassidy had 6 points on 2 field goals and 2 free throws, and that's the best night Cassidy has had in scoring. Ray Mills tonight picked up 8 points, all in the second half, 3 field goals and 2 free throws. Johnny Brewer of Kentucky picked up 6 points, a field goal and 4 out of 6 free throws. Bill Smith scored 4 on 2 second-half field goals. Abe Collinsworth did not score. Harold Ross picked up 2 points on a field goal as Kentucky rolled up 111 record-breaking points. Andy McElvin of Houston had 11 points, 4 field goals, 3 out of 6 free throws. He fouled out of the ball game with 4 minutes, 51 seconds to go. Sam Sells contributed 5 points, 3 out of 4 free throws, and a field goal, all in the second half. 3 points in the second half for Doc Jones, a field goal, 1 out of 2 free throws. Ronnie Truitt did not score. Jackie Welch scored 6 points in the second half on 3 field goals. He missed 1 free throw. Bernie Kepner ended up with 6 points, 4 field goals and a free throw in the second half. He missed 1 free throw in the first half. Their captain, Danny Dotson, ended up with 10 points, 3 field goals and 4 free throws. Here the championship Wildcats being awarded small trophies, each of them getting a small trophy emblematic of their championship here in the 1956 Sugar Bowl tournament. The rest of the Houston scoring, Dean Evans had 3 points all in the first half as he hit 3 out of 5 free throws. Russell Boone of Houston came down with 14 points to lead the Cougars, 5 field goals and 4 out of 6 free throws. Larry Bird, a reserve, picked up 8 points, 2 field goals, 4 out of 5 free throws. Jimmy Ash didn't score, missed 2 free throw tries. And Ray Patapersti, the starting center, had 10 points, 4 field goals, 2 out of 4 free throws, and that's the picture. Kentucky led 59-32 at the end of the first half, and the Wildcats beat Houston 111-76 to break all kinds of Sugar Bowl records. And those are the highlights from our Kentucky-Houston battle for the Sugar Bowl championship. As Coach Adolph Rupp is introduced, and we'll say a few words. Let's see if we can pick them up.
On behalf of the University of Kentucky, I would like to have our Honorable Governor, A.B. Hampton Chandler, come out here and present the trophy to him. Thank you, Coach Rupp.
Coach Adolph Rupp, who had Governor A.B. Chandler summons to the floor, and Governor Chandler, who's here with a special party receiving the championship trophy from Chairman Monk Simons.
Thank you for inviting our team. Of course, we're very proud of you. And we appreciate the time James and Houston boys to give everybody our good wishes here. It's nice to see you again. Thank you, Governor Chandler.
So that is it. Kentucky takes down championship number 4 of Sugar Bowl. And we'd like to thank our engineer tonight, Bob Burns of New Orleans radio station WTPS. And this reminder for you to be with us on next Saturday night, January 5th, when Standard Oil Company and Standard Oil dealers throughout Kentucky, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi will bring you the game between U of K and Georgia Tech from Memorial Coliseum in Lexington. Be sure to listen in. Being the life of the party can be the death of you. That's because gasoline and alcohol still don't mix. So this holiday season, why not take it easy? The National Safety Council says traffic accidents will hit their peak during Christmas and the New Year. If you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink. Ed Beck has just been awarded the most valuable player of the tournament trophy. Well, Ed Beck moves out to get a handsome individual trophy, and quite a shock to Ed Beck, who came in here and in the first game picked up 16 points, the most he's ever gotten in a college basketball game. And Ed Beck is the most valuable player in the Sugar Bowl tournament. Being awarded that trophy has given you some idea of the tremendous play of Beck here, who had 26 points in the tournament and was one of the driving forces in Wildcat squeaking 21-point win last night over VPI. Well, now this is Claude Sullivan speaking from the Loyola Fieldhouse on the campus of Loyola University in New Orleans, Louisiana, scene of the 1956 Sugar Bowl tournament. Wishing you good night, a pleasant weekend, and a happy new year. Your final scores again: Alabama finished third, beating VPI 62-47. The championship game, Kentucky 111, Houston 76. This is the Standard Oil Sports Network.